Question. Is Janet the most miserable person ever on TV?
Yeah. Big recency bias guy, so yeah, have to be.
Recency bias? I think just any bias, any way you look at it, she is just an unhappy human being.
If somebody said that she was the most hated or miserable person on reality TV, I would not fight for it.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Maui Gooter. Hey.
Slid that one in there for the last episode, Maui, huh?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do it. We're starting to see why Janet decided to go private on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think she was getting ahead of it for this episode.
I think that was a smart move. She's claiming that she's getting like horrible death threats and stuff. And no, that stuff's never okay. And people take this shit way too far because you don't know these people. Why you feel the need to say that is fucking nuts. But that stuff aside, she sucks.
She really sucks. She is awful. Her husband is awful. There's no reason. I'm past the point of she's a good instigator.
Who,
we have
Janet?
to wait. Yeah, it's
no.
I think we said it maybe early this season, last season, whatever. Once she gets to the point where people start to push back, we have to see how she reacts. After seeing this episode, she doesn't really have any business being on TV.
No, I don't think so either, especially when you add into that equation the fan aspect of it all. Because I knew that was a thing, but then watching Dodie like actually address it on the screen, the Sheena of it all, you add that into it. I'm like, this is just a disaster. She doesn't need to be on the show. Jason is the biggest pussy ever. That guy's such a wiener. Like, I can't stand them. I can't stand them together. I don't like how they talk to other people. I don't think they add like an interesting, fun dynamic to the show where it's like, ooh, Janet's involved. It's like shit's gonna pop off. It's like, ooh, Janet's involved. We're gonna pull things out from 4 weeks ago that have already been squashed and use that against people to try to smear names because they're jealous and they hate each other. And instead of focusing on their miserable marriage, they're gonna make other people miserable.
Yeah, we finally had the important episode, which I was actually happy to watch, incredibly happy to watch, and obviously, you know, the end of it took in a very valley way.
I kind of liked this episode.
I liked the episode because we finally got people piecing together and speaking about, multiple people speaking about what Janet does.
Yep.
And to have it put out there verbatim, she's going to go, and this was just about Dodie getting engaged.
Yep.
I don't want it to go through Janet's pipeline. She's going to go ahead and text Jared, and then Jared's going to tell somebody else, and then all of a sudden it's going to go through. Get Jason, Janet, and Jared, the Jays, out of here.
Fuck Jared, by the way.
Yeah, that dude's a dork.
That's Pink Boots guy?
Yep.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking worm.
He's a worm.
He can kick rocks. All the Jays need to go.
Except for Jesse.
I mean, you've wrote it all season. You've wrote it all season.
Well, he had a great Watch What Happens Live last night.
Oh, he did?
Incredible Watch What Happens Live. And this isn't just
from you, or is that?
This is not just a Jesse supporter. Okay. He answered everything like very well.
All right. Well, that's, what narcissists do. But anywho.
He also said that Sheena has no business trying so hard to get on their show.
Big facts.
Huge.
Big facts.
Huge fan of that statement.
Yeah, that should be printed out and hung up on this show in somebody's room.
Yep.
Just fuck off, Sheena. Like, I'm so sick of it. We don't have to do it every single time we do this show, but like the VPR rejects, just go do your podcast.
Yep.
And fuck off. Like, it's not fun.
Write your books, do your podcast.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
won't read it. I won't listen to it. But you guys are out there existing.
People seem to. So, like, take the money from advertising on that and leave us alone because the montage, we got a Sheena montage. And I was like, why? I'm not watching VPR right now. Like, I don't want to see this shit. They bring the show down. And again, we've talked about this for weeks. There's a good show here.
Yeah.
Right? And we've gotten back on track a little bit. Like, I'm not bummed out watching it now. There was a stretch there for probably 4 or 5 weeks where this was a chore.
Yeah.
We're not there anymore, so I'm happy about that. But the negative parts of this show just fucking drag you down. Like, Janet gets on the screen and I physically get upset. I'm like, this sucks.
Physically?
Physically. Did I say physically?
Visibly and physically
There you
together.
Go. Boom.
We're watching you.
Yeah.
Physically get upset.
I was going to say visceral reaction, visibly upset, and physically upset.
Wow, the trifecta.
Physically. Yeah, boom. That's a word for you.
Wow.
We've been saying we want a word in the dictionary.
I'm
That might
bricked
be
up
it.
by that.
Hey, now.
Hey, look, I like linguistics. What do you want from me? But yeah, I agree. This was a much better episode. It's on the right track.
Yeah, it's doing better.
Not even just if we leave the Janet situation out, the rest of it was good.
Yes, I agree.
It was enjoyable. I even will go as far to say I don't like Brittany. You know, we can hold space for her, if you will, for the things that she's going through with Jax. Don't like her. Don't think she's a good friend. Getting called out for it. Good. You can stay on the show if you're going to get called out for shit. I'm okay with that. It's when we went through that 4 or 5 episode stretch where Janet wasn't getting called out for the things that she was doing. She was able to just manipulate and pull things from behind the scenes. And then we've got Brittany over here not taking accountability because she's going through something. It's like, all right, I'm getting really tired by this.
Oh, I think we're past that.
We're past all of that. We've moved on. Everybody seems, you can see the people that really like each other, the people that don't like each other, and it kind of works.
Yeah, I agree. And we're in the aftermath of the engagement, obviously on the boat, and we're at the party. They're all upstairs, and then we're headed downstairs to have some hors d'oeuvres. And this scene was confusing as shit to me. I don't know what the fuck happened in the interim of upstairs to downstairs, but we're getting the whole crew updating about the evening. And we get a Janet update from Michelle. This is going to fucking piss me off because she's not the only one that said this. Brittany says it later. Michelle brings up, it's mean that Janet wasn't invited. Janet was invited. Janet pulled herself out of this thing using the excuse of, I don't want to take away from her night, but actually she did want to take away from her night and she didn't go because she wanted support from other people.
Yeah,
that's what's happening now.
That's exactly what's happening now. I would be fully okay with a fourth wall break right now if they would just say, I get that it's a cast trip, but you didn't really need to invite Janet knowing what it was. Do that. If that's where your stance is, fine. I get that. That's completely fine by me. Because really what it comes down to is the only people that knew what was going on were Luke, Zach, Benji by proxy, and then, you know, eventually everybody else kind of trickled out. This comes down to them. I don't want to put anything on Luke.
No.
To be the one to say, yeah, maybe Janet shouldn't come. That doesn't make any sense.
He's not going to. Like, you need to bring her because it's a cast trip.
And Danny and Nia even agreed, like, let's just have her there.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, she's going to throw a hissy fit in her room. Let her go throw a hissy fit. Why does it have to be, oh, I feel so bad for Janet? Why are we feeling bad for Janet?
I don't know. She was invited to the dinner. She said no. But now we're taking
was
this
the right
whole different
move, by
approach.
the way.
It was under the right guys, but she didn't do that. She's doing it selfishly, which is funny as shit. Not funny, ha funny, but like funny, shut the fuck up funny.
I think it might actually be genuine, and I'm basing this off of what happened after the engagement party. If she truly just wanted sympathy, and maybe it is a little deeper, if she just wanted sympathy, I think she would have been out of her room and like mingling with everybody else, bitching about what happened
at the end of the night.
But maybe she still wanted sympathy at that point.
No,
so I'm not going to run that past her because that could be true too.
I have my whole theory on everything, but Danny and Nia are MIA because they're showering, which they were part of the engagement itself. So I think that it's okay that they take a breather. And apparently that's a massive fucking problem. We get the napping again joke. And look, Jasmine's upset about them not being there for that. Brittany is now going, well, if they're not held accountable, why am I? What are you talking about, held accountable? They're showering before this thing because they're on a boat.
And let's just be logical. I thought about this.
Oh, how dare you?
They, along with Kristen and Luke, were on a boat, a fishing trip boat.
Yes.
Kristen, very publicly, didn't want to shower. So she wanted to shower now. If I'm going to give you Luke and Dodie versus Danny and Nia, just straight up, you got to shower at the same time and get ready at the same time. Who's going to come out first? Obviously, Kristen and Luke.
Thank you.
Like, they're not doing all of these things. Nia was a beauty queen. Danny is a beauty queen in his own right. He's probably doing a bunch of shit over there. He's manscaping.
He's Kelvin Gemstone.
Yeah, so, like, it's going to take them longer to come down. And by the way, Aaron also came down well after everybody else. He was taking a nap. Michelle said he was taking a nap. No issue there? No accountability?
No.
What is this?
No, Aaron, because Aaron maybe he's like not really part of the group. I don't really know, but
fucking like hugs Luke from behind. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
We're so happy for you.
Don't speak in the general
Oh,
we.
no.
I hate the general we. But Brittany, who we gave not a pass to last episode, we said,
tried
okay,
really hard to give her a
at
pass.
least she finally said, like, it's not about me, I'm being selfish. In this moment, does the same
All
shit,
gone.
but so much worse. She's saying the accountable thing, like, why am I here? Because she's butthurt that she wasn't included on the boat ride. You would have been included on the boat ride if you weren't so far up Janet's ass. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. Put two and two together. That's what drives me nuts about this cast specifically. The lack of self-awareness is on a whole different level.
Yep.
It's fucking nuts. And she's making it about herself again. It's not about you. And Zach finally snaps, which I don't know how he didn't earlier. He's like, what's going on? Like, why are you guys all being grumpy? Like, she just got engaged. Just have a fucking hors d'oeuvre.
You guys are bitching about Danny and Nia coming down late to the point where they're not being held accountable. I want to leave Kristen's engagement party.
Yes.
So you're going to penalize her and punish her and Luke on the happiest night of their lives so far because you want to be petty because other people are taking longer to come down?
Yes.
Stupid.
They're
just all terrible friends.
I just wrote down here in parentheses, they're proof positive. It's just a group of horrible people.
Yeah, it really is.
Like selfish and self-serving, and it comes out so much in this scene. But Danny and Nia finally arrive. Jasmine makes a comment, and then Aaron shows up by himself, and Luke makes a Jaws joke. It was a very strange scene.
It was a very strange scene. I don't
really know what
I didn't know what to make of it at all.
Yeah, it was just like, what? Like, why does everyone have a stick up their ass right now?
I have
Just
no
have
idea.
a beer and eat a fucking chip.
And clearly, by the way, none of you can be trusted.
No.
So
God, no.
We are immediately met with, hey, again, and this makes so much more sense because I know last week, people even had questions when we asked questions. Why didn't their families know? Well, they did. I'm assuming Luke's family knew. Luke just went to go see his grandmother who's in the hospital. She's on hospice. I'm sure he talked to the rest of his family. I'm sure he's talked to Kristen's family about what's going on.
I would hope.
We don't know for sure, but I would hope. And they're 6 hours ahead of time.
Yep.
So, of course, they're not going to text them at 10 o'clock local time when it's 4 a.m. over there.
Right.
They're going to wait until the morning.
Correct.
Makes sense. And it's not to tell them, oh my God, Luke surprised me, blah, blah, blah. It's to tell them that they're engaged, that everything went through according to plan.
You think.
You would think.
I don't know.
I'm assuming, because that's how normal people operate. And Luke and Dodie, we've seen Kristen for a very long time. Right now, she's one of the most normal people in the show. Mm-hmm. So that's how normal people operate. I'm going to assume that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, and she's worried that Janet's going to blow it. So she's like, look, everyone just fucking chill, relax. Let's not.
Shoop, she said.
Shoop.
I really liked that subtitle.
Shoop, baby. Like Salt and Pepper.
Yep.
That's a great song. But anyway, Zach, Danny, and Nia are talking, and Zach points out to them, look, there's a lot of resentment around here. There's a whole lot of resentment. Brittany's pissed off. Jasmine's pissed off. I don't really get why, other than they feel sad that they were left out of this.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I can.
I liked this exchange, though, because
I did too.
We finally get to see. I mean, Danny is well past the point of having it.
But I think rightfully so.
But seeing Nia just roll her eyes immediately and not get down in the dumps and not get sad.
She's kind of,
she's so checked out from this whole thing. I love it. I'm so happy that we've gotten to this point because it's taken so many fucking bumps and scratches to actually get Nia to do this. But now she's just completely past it.
Yeah, she just rolls her eyes.
Again, I'm not dealing with this shit.
Yeah, she's just tired of the behind the back shit.
Yeah, and now she's worried that Danny's gonna blow it.
I mean, I don't know, dude. You can only poke. Yeah, it was funny watching them leave, and he's like, Danny, stop, and he's like, okay. Yeah, but
I don't blame him. You know what I mean? Like
this juncture,
he's hit his breaking point a long time ago. Nia's now finally at her breaking point, so I don't blame him for wanting to make little comments here and there.
Here's why they were the ones invited on the boat. As they're leaving, Nia is constantly reminding Danny, hey, this is not about you. This is not about you. This is Kristen's day. This is Kristen and Luke's day.
They're trying to make it about you. They're trying to make you blow it up.
Yep.
And you know what's going to happen. If you do snap, if you do say something, they'll turn around the next day and say, you ruined Kristen's engagement party.
Exactly.
Even though they were all plotting on ruining it because they're all petty losers.
Exactly. Yeah. Well said. 100%. The rest of the group goes back up to Janet and Jason's room. I guess they were sharing rooms. I'm not entirely sure, but they're in the living room there.
Brittany's room, maybe? I don't know.
Who cares? But Janet and Jason are awkwardly in their room as their friends now are out in the living room. And this is where it's confirmation. woe is me. I didn't get invited to the dinner. You did get invited to the dinner. You decided not to go to the dinner. And now we're just going to stay in our room with the door shut. All of our friends are out there now.
Kristen and Luke aren't out there.
That's what I mean.
Can go out and say,
There's no reason.
there's two choices here. Three, really, but the third one's not an option for these losers. The two choices are go out there, garner sympathy, and talk shit. Stay in your room, try to garner sympathy. Hope that somebody comes over and knocks on your door, even though we already saw that Brittany was texting you saying, come out and hang out with us. 3, which is the good person, is to go out and say, oh my God, how was it? Was it so much fun? And try to be nice.
Yep.
And don't talk shit, which they're incapable of doing because they're losers.
Yes, 100%. And now they're discussing, should we leave early? Should we leave early? Yes, please, for the love
Go
of God,
home.
go away. But we get to the next morning, and the only way that somebody wants to wake up after they get engaged is a text from Jax Taylor saying congrats.
I assume it was like a free cameo.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He forgot to take the filter off of his phone for that the tape recorder.
Yeah.
Here's my theory on this. Brittany had a lot of excuses.
Oh, this was 100% intentional.
The first excuse was, I can't believe he would do that. I told him to keep his mouth shut.
That's comical.
Crazy.
Comical.
She then moves a little bit later in the episode to, I can't believe that he did that. I told him not to do it. Maybe I just word vomited. Okay, maybe stick with that. You word vomited. Fine, whatever. You couldn't keep your trap shut because it was going on. Then you get to like a righteous place where you're saying, what, am I not allowed to talk about this? Like,
No.
here's what you did. You were pissed that you didn't know about it. You're still leaning on Jax, even though you shouldn't be, but there's a whole psychology thing going on there I'm not going to touch. We've talked about that a lot. There's a lot going on there. You should be removing yourself from all of those situations. You're not, whatever. But what you did was bitch about it to Jax because he's the person that's at home right now, the person that'll probably talk shit with you
Yep.
without it getting back to someone else,
Yep.
which it's Jax, so it's going to get back to somebody else.
She knows that.
So I wouldn't be surprised if a reunion finale episode, we find out where Jax is now feeling completely vindictive because Brittany's being mean to him, that now he's going to go ahead and tell Dodie, by the way, she did that on purpose. She was talking shit.
100%.
That's probably what's going to happen.
And she deserves to be called out for this because
Yeah.
the excuses were horseshit. She's trying to tell everybody that, like, I didn't know. Like, I wasn't trying to. It's like, you know who you told. And you did that 100% intentionally because your butt hurt. You weren't on the boat.
I love that Luke told Kristen to just block him.
I know. It's so good. So I'm glad.
You know what? Just block him.
I'm glad she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Protect your peace. That's what he says. Like, this is our day. Like, let's be happy. Fuck that guy. Like, there's no reason to do this.
Spend your time now reaching out to family and letting everybody know. Schwartz's response later. Did she make a social media post about it yet? I'm not going to do it.
Schwartz knows.
The most aloof, and we have theories that he's a lot smarter than he lets on.
Yep.
But in most of these social situations, he is completely aloof. Even he knows, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
It's just bad etiquette. Bad form. Bad form all around. But Jason and Janet, who I just write in my book as J plus J, boo. They're talking about the awkward evening the night before. They're making this whole thing about them, which is so fucking funny. And then she's going to give some fake-ass sob story about, I remember when we used to be so close. I want to be down there cheering for her and this and that and the other thing.
Timeline is so funny. I remember like 2 years ago, we were just good friends. What's happened since then? You joined the show and changed your whole personality.
A lot of people say her real personality finally came out.
She's just like holding on for hope that she might get a shot at being on a show so she could do this.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Who knows?
Her whole thing is that they don't want to intrude, and hopefully our absence was a gift. It would have been if the intention was that.
Yeah.
The intention was not to avoid distraction, so you removed yourself. The intention was to call attention to yourself because you're not there, and to get sympathy from the group. Woe is me, Janet's excluded again.
Here's what would have been a good move. Use the opportunity to bridge a gap with Kristen, your friend that
It's
you
the
missed.
easiest one ever.
I'm really happy for you. I hope you're not upset that I didn't miss out, or that I missed out last night.
Didn't want it to be
just
awkward.
Didn't seem like the whole thing was a really good call for us. Didn't want it to be awkward on your night, but I am really happy for you, and I hope we can bridge a gap.
Bridge forward.
And then don't talk shit. Here's the challenge. It's called the Don't Talk Shit Challenge.
She lost.
She lost immediately.
She just lost again.
Yeah, she actually lost again. Yeah.
She's losing again right now.
Yeah, she's talking to Jason, or we're talking to Jared.
Fuck Jared, dude. Let's get to Brittany and Dodie. because they sit down, and obviously Dodie has had her issues with Brittany all season. I will give it to Dodie. And Dodie is a different person than she was in the past. And if you think that she's still a piece of shit, not that, whatever your opinion is on her, she has changed. And if you watch throughout this season, all of the allegations being thrown at her, she's not the culprit. We've gotten evidence from multiple people corroborating by saying Kristen's not at the bottom of this, Kristen's not at the bottom of this isn't Kristen either.
Yep.
So she's not doing anything wrong, but she's still always bearing the brunt of everyone's bullshit. And in this moment, she's still fairly calm with Brittany. And I don't know, I'm assuming it's because they were so close that she doesn't want to just like completely separate from her, so she tries to handle this with kid gloves. But
you're right too, because like this is part 2 of why did you tell Jax? And obviously Brittany has a different answer than what she had before. Just goes to show you that she's lying and trying to spin it in whatever way possible.
This was part 1 of Brittany. The first we just saw Brittany her reaction on the phone. Yeah. This is the first time with Dodie though.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, no, Dodie called
her on the phone. Yeah. Okay, I missed that.
So there were 2. These are 2 different excuses.
This is the face-to-face.
This is the face-to-face reaction about what's going on and why you told Jax. This was the maybe I word vomited.
Yeah.
Which was different than what you said earlier, which was I told him not to tell anyone. Completely different. Maybe you told him after the fact. That's neither here nor there. But I love the way that Kristen prefaces it because it's showing that she's handling her differently, handling her with kid gloves. Brittany is going through a lot of stuff. I don't want to feel like I'm attacking you. I don't want to feel like I'm ganging up on you and just dumping. But I did want to talk to you about something else. What the fuck's up with Janet?
Seriously.
Why are you so far up her ass that you defend her at every turn, but you can't defend anybody else? It's a big question that needed to be asked.
I've been waiting for it to get asked, and I like the way she goes through the events before this. She brings up El Coyote. She's like, I was talking to Michelle across the table. Like, she was mouthing to me, I'm not mad at you. This was between her and I. This Jenna situation, we were trying to handle it because I had nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, asshole number 1 is on Michelle's right, making faces, doing this side eye that she does every conversation, and it's so exhausting and infuriating. Why did she need to get involved? And then she gets involved, and your response to her is just, oh, Janet. It's like, no. Stand up for me. Say something. Because on the flip side, and we've already done this, by the way, with Zach and sitting at lunch with Dodie and Brittany, and I forget who else was there.
I think.
Nia and Zach. And Zach had the same sentiment. You support Janet. You threw me away when shit goes down. Like, anytime shit goes down, you do not have my back.
Yep.
So now you have another person telling you this. A normal person would be like, oh, God, this seems to be a recurring theme. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and need to fix it. But no, Brittany is just like, oh, like, I love you both, but, like, you want me to stand up for you more. Like, okay, like, I can stand up for it's like, you're missing the point.
You're completely missing.
You're missing the center of this whole thing, and that's you treat Janet differently than you treat your other friends who you have been closer to for a longer period of time. Why? Why? The why?
We don't know why.
I know.
We can't figure it out.
It makes no sense.
Things that we've seen, it just seems like you guys have been friends for 20 years, and that would make sense. But instead, you've known her way longer, and we haven't seen her be more supportive or a better friend to you.
No.
So it doesn't make any sense to us watching. And it doesn't make sense to Kristen, who's been your friend for a long time.
Yep.
So explain it to us.
She can't. And Dodie finally reached a point, and she's like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. She just needs to shut the fuck up. And then Brittany's like, well, I shouldn't have to pick. You don't have to pick. That's the thing. And that's not what Dodie's saying either. She's not saying pick. She's saying...
you are picking Janet.
You are picking Janet. You're 100% correct. But the whole premise of it, you don't have to pick. You just need to treat them the same. You arguably should treat Dodie better because you've been friends longer. But if you want to have them just on an even playing field, then when shit pops off, either stand up for both of them in a moment or completely pull yourself out and say, I'm not getting involved because you're both my friends. But don't take Janet's side. And then when Dodie checks you on it, get butthurt about the fact that you took her side and you're like, I can't pick. I don't want to pick. You don't have to fucking pick. That's not what she said. You're just so bad at being a friend.
Yeah, it's brutal.
All right, that's crazy. And like, I have stood up for Brittany all season as far as the Jack stuff goes. I'll continue to do that. I get she's going through a lot. This is something that we have seen in other shows. She's not a good friend. In season 1 of The Valley, she's just not a good friend.
Nope, not at all. She wasn't on her VPR days either.
No, but I'm glad that this is when Dodie starts talking about the fan aspect of it all. It's like, yeah, she came into this group as a fan of Vanderpump Rules.
Yep.
That's a pretty big statement, and that makes a lot more sense, especially when you watch the way that Janet moves, because she's seen VPR, right? So she's trying to
She's
do
been on
things.
VPR.
She's trying to do things that are reminiscent of Vanderpump because she's a fucking fan of the show, guys. That was brought in by Sheena.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
Sheena is not allowed to bring people in.
No.
Okay?
The fact that Sheena was able to bring somebody onto a show that she's not even on is crazy.
It's wild. It's banana land. But let's get some more evidence of why Jason and Janet suck. Because they're on the way. They're in a car going to the boat. And Kristen butt dials Brittany. We've talked about the butt dial situation a lot with Shannon Bedore.
Yep.
Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Don't sit there and be snaky and try to hear anything. And of course, Jason's like, leave it on. Maybe they're talking shit. Get out of the car.
Yep.
Get him out. I don't know
It's
when.
one of those things too, and I understand it's a double standard, but we've watched how Jason and Janet move. This is very serious. If Zach had said it in whatever situation, I would have laughed. That would have been funny. But Zach has proven to me that he might use that in a funny way, or he's just going to forget about it.
Yep.
You two will go home and talk about it, and then try to spin it into something that works for you and your
spin it
storyline.
in this moment.
Yeah. So they're just, I just can't with them anymore.
I can't either. Like they literally, Jason is a weasel and tries to listen to the conversation to hear if they're talking shit. It's Dodie and Jesse talking about sea turtles.
Yeah.
And Michelle, who just got divorced from the guy who's getting divorced, she's like, it's weird that they're so buddy-buddy.
I'm okay with I'm fine with that.
Fine with that. You know what I'm not fine with? Janet's follow-up. Oh, yeah, best friends forever and ever. It's like, stop planting seeds.
Yeah.
Like, I get that Michelle could feel weird about Dodie and Jesse. That's normal. That makes sense to
Let her
me.
work through it.
Thank you. That's literally the basis of all of Janet and Jason's problem. Get out of other people's business.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
If Michelle was a more central character or at least a central figure in this group, Janet would have latched onto her.
Oh, yeah.
Janet would have used that to her advantage. We see her and Michelle all the time. Michelle's just not involved in enough for Janet to actually use her as a good friend.
Yet. Yet. But let's get to the boat ride. Leave Luke alone. All right. The man just got engaged. He's trying to show up on the boat and have some fun and cut loose a little bit. There was a lot of moose knuckle.
A lot of moose knuckle.
A lot of moose knuckle. I wrote moose
A
knuckle.
lot of like putting your foot up too. Like,
Yeah, I'm
Lieutenant
like,
Dangle.
yeah, he,
You know,
but he was like trying. He's in a good mood, and yeah, I don't want to see his moose knuckle the whole time.
yeah.
But I also wrote he was moose knuckling before Jesse said moose knuckle, just like that to be out there. Okay, but Janet has the fucking balls. This was crazy. This is crazy to me. She's talking to Jason, of course, because they're both playing that stupid game of like, we're going to sit in
we're
the
gonna go
corner
over
and sulk.
hey, you want to sit with us? No, I'm going to share
No,
with Jason.
we're gonna sit
There's room
here.
for him too. Okay.
I'm going to sit here and sulk. Kristen's being so cold because you just got on a boat for an engagement party and you haven't gone up at any point and said, hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Really all you have to do. You can take advantage, which you love to do, take advantage of a happy person. Just say congratulations. You might have a fun night. I know your idea of fun is ruining people's marriages and self-images.
And Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, and Dave and Buster's. But this could be a good way to extend an olive branch. If you truly want to repair that friendship and you don't want to just continue this road, which is probably going to work better in your mind for how you should portray yourself on reality TV, then you would just go over and say congratulations. That doesn't work for what they've got planned out.
There is no scenario that I can think of. I've tried to like understand how you could get on that boat and not say congratulations. There's nothing. I got nothing.
Nothing.
Because there's no excuse for it.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because you're
exist.
on the boat for the party. So at the very least, swallow your pride, say congrats, and then go sit in the front of the boat.
Yep.
Because then if shit pops off, you can say, I congratulated, I tried. You don't even do that, but then you still want to be the fucking victim. It's crazy talk. But Janet and Michelle start talking. And I actually like this, and I thought it was interesting because we don't know a whole lot about Jesse and Michelle from back when they were happy.
Yeah.
And Janet says something along the lines of like, "What's it like? How did you ever fall for that guy?" And Michelle's like, "Well, he used to be super romantic, and he would cook me dinner, and like he lived in this shitty apartment, and every time I came over, he was waiting hand and foot. It was very sweet, all this, and then he got money, and he turned into a douchebag." Makes sense to me. That
More
all
of a
tracks.
douchebag, probably.
That all makes sense to me.
I fail to understand how he was never not a douchebag.
I think that he
think
probably
he's always
always
been a
was.
douchebag, yeah.
But maybe he was a tolerable douchebag. But the captain douchebag with the hat, I was like, well done. Well played. Nice job, Michelle. But Brittany feels bad for Janet. She feels bad for Janet. And she says, it's just so sad. Like, she wasn't invited last night. She wasn't allowed. Yes, she was.
She was
Yes,
invited.
she was. And that's such a vital part of this.
Let's stop perpetuating that.
It's driving me crazy. It's driving me absolutely crazy. And I hope that when they watch the scene of Zach saying, Zach even says, this could be a good moment. It's an hors d'oeuvres thing. You don't have to, we're not sitting down at the table.
Yep.
He tried, and she said no.
Yep.
Oh, it's so fucking infuriating, man. But we get a juxtaposed scene I did not need. Zach's talking to Brittany, and he brings up Jax. And I love Zach. I've loved him the entire time he's been on the show, but I love that he's able to do this because a lot of people on this show shy away from having the conversations that need to be had. He's like, look, I already know about the Jax thing. Like, why the fuck did you do that? And Brittany's like, I know I messed up, but like, I told him not to tell anybody. And Zach's like, are you fucking serious? Like, who are we talking about here?
Everybody has the same reaction to that. You told Jax Taylor a secret.
Exactly.
And you expected him to keep it. That's crazy.
It's insane, dude. And Zach calls her out for falling back and kind of slipping back into some of these.
He's already doing stuff that you didn't give him clearance for. He's already moving back and doing all this stuff with Cruz, and she has excuses for it. Which again, that's a completely different situation. Than the Kristen engagement announcement. That's just Brittany's a bad friend, and she was definitely shit talking.
Yep.
This is way more intricate, and this is like a deeper friend conversation about like
trauma.
I know how this works. You've gone through it. You've been with him for 10 years. It's trauma. You're going to start falling back into it. I don't want you to do that. So here, if I put the divorce papers right in front of you right now, would you sign?
She says yes.
She says yes. Okay, good. As Zach, that is the perfect way to approach that topic, I think, and that whole conversation, is to make sure that she's still on board with, hey, no, you're going to fuck up the rest of your life and maybe your son's life if you continue to go down this road.
Yep.
We're good, right? You're moving on, right? Yes. Okay, good. That's it.
I thought he did a great job. I think it was well
handled.
And yes, you're correct in saying as well, like, this is different than the bad friend
Way
thing.
different,
Like, she's falling back into trauma patterns over the past 10 years. That's sad. And you need people in your life like Zach to say, hey, wake up. Like, you're doing it again. So Zach's being a good friend there. Brittany takes it as well as she probably can in this moment, but I don't need to go over to Schwartz and Jax. I don't need to see Jax Taylor on this screen.
Those hungry man meals.
That was funny only because that probably is the sponsor of divorced dads is Hungry Man dinners.
Schwartz going and getting him Hungry Man.
It's just
funny.
A sad moment that's very funny. But he, again, tells somebody else that Dodie's engaged.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Dodie got engaged. You're not going to believe it. And he's like, oh, that's amazing. Like, I'm so happy for her. Like, I'm gonna text her.
I'm gonna text her. No,
He's like, don't do that.
Wait,
I'm not supposed to tell people.
Yeah.
And then we get a confessional, and I don't know if they think this is cute, funny, or cute and funny, but it's like, I can never keep a secret. And there's a montage of him being a bad friend and telling everybody secrets.
Yep.
It's like, this is why we don't like him.
Yeah.
This is not good for the show.
This is actually, if you had just that, that's okay for the show.
Without him on it.
Everything else, no.
Yeah. If you just showed the montage without having to talk to Jax in real time, I'd be down with that. This tries to put a spin on it, like, oh, you guys know that wacky Jax.
Yeah, that part of Jax, fine for reality TV.
Sure.
All of the other shit that we've seen, not fine.
Exactly.
Be able to find the difference.
Oh, and then we have to sit through like a fucking sob story again. Like, I got served, and I talked to Britt, and I was like, did we really exhaust everything? I just got out of rehab. You didn't even give me a chance.
Schwartz snapping this.
Thank God.
Like, he's had enough.
He's like, dude, shut up. Like, you don't need to get back with her.
Bad
It's
fucking
a
idea.
bad idea.
You're gonna end up in prison. Like, how much more do you need to hear?
What else needs to happen for you to get it through to yourself that this is not supposed to be a thing? And how many more times are we going to have to sit through a scene of Jack saying, woe is me, I just got out of rehab in heavy quotations, and she didn't give me a chance because you didn't change. You're the same fucking guy that went in there. I'm not doing this again. I've done it like 4 weeks in a row. But like,
by the way, the audience is all cheering Brittany on for not giving you a chance.
Exactly.
Like, understand you talking about this right now. We're exhausted. We're done.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of it. But let's go back to Michelle and Janet because I'm not tired of her. And they're bringing up the Jenna thing. Zach and Michelle are talking about it. He's there as well. And Zach's like, look, I'm sorry about all. It was not malicious. I've known Jenna. I met her when I moved here. She's best friends with Sheena. I'm friends with Sheena. Dodie's known her for like 17 years.
I didn't expect the way that this conversation started because I thought it was just going to be more of pouring on to Kristen set this up. Kristen set this up. Zach may have set this up. Whatever it was, I don't really care. But instead, it was Michelle actually asking. I talked to Zach. He said it's actually you and Sheena who have been talking the most about it. This is the little poke and prod at Janet. Like, hey, are you doing this shit?
Because I'm hearing things.
Nope. Let's go get Zach right now. Let's grill him. Zach has at least the right frame of mind to grab Kristen.
Yep.
Because if he went down there and he knows this better than anybody because he's already done it with Janet, you're not going to get anywhere.
You need support.
She's going to blame you and someone's going to believe her.
Yep.
For whatever fucking reason.
I don't know why people believe her.
Go get Kristen and bring her down too. I love the face that Janet makes when Kristen walks down like, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. I thought I was going to be able to get this easy. All right. Now I got to stand my ground. Nope.
She still thinks that she's in the same ring as Dodie. He's not even close, but Zach tells Michelle. He puts it on her, like you said. It's like, actually, Janet and Sheena are the ones talking about the Jenna and Aaron thing. They keep bringing it up all the time. And if we go back just this season, who's always talking about it? Janet.
Yep.
She brings it up all the time in an attempt to get Michelle to hate Dodie.
Yep.
Because
And we saw one
her.
little awkward exchange where Dodie saw Aaron and said, oh, yeah, I know you. You were friends with Jenna. Like,
Or you know Jenna.
You know Jenna. And like, that was awkward. But it was probably awkward for Kristen, too.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't do any of it.
And maybe when she said that, she might have had that, oh, shit, wait.
Oh, fuck, you guys
blinked.
dated.
Like,
Yeah. Shit.
Whoops, my bad. That's not that deep.
No,
but it's
it's
getting
not.
played up like this moment where it's like, see, she's trying to throw a wrench into your guy's thing. It's like, no. And Janet defends. And she's like, look, you're my real friend. And like, and Sheena loves you. It's like, stop. Stop with that shit. Answer for what she just said. Don't throw it a different direction.
Why are
Like,
you
come
talking
on.
about it so much?
I don't know. It's very strange, but Dodie enters the conversation and Michelle asks, like, where did Jenna come from? Like, how did we get here? And that's when you get Dodie's known her for 17 years. Zach met her when he moved to LA because of Sheena. So that's how they all got together and they're all really close. And Zach, again, emphasized earlier, like, this was not a malicious thing. Like, Jenna's just always been around. Sheena's coming around. So Jenna's going to get involved, of course. And that's when we get the montage of Sheena, which I don't fucking need.
Nope.
But it's Sheena just perpetuating rumors, talking shit, bringing up
Trying
stories.
to get airtime.
Yeah, just desperately clinging for any relevancy that she can possibly get. There it is. Like, I know you can't see the montage, obviously, but talking about it, like, everyone in this group knows Sheena.
Yep.
It's like, does this track? Have you listened to an episode of her podcast? Because the only clips I've ever heard are her throwing out rumors.
Yep.
And as you've already referenced, Michelle brings up that she didn't like Dodie bringing up Jenna in front of her. And it's like, okay, or in front of Aaron. Fine. That's fine. Like, that's a little awkward. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Not something to ruin a friendship over. But then it shifts. And now we go Dodie versus Janet. Because Dodie brings up El Coyote. And she's like, I was trying to do my thing with Michelle. And all of a sudden, you're screaming bloody murder across the table. Condescending, patronizing. Janet's like, that's not how I remember it, but okay. Roll the tape. Mm-hmm. What would you call that?
Yep. By the way, Janet has already taken accountability for drinking and getting too drunk and then getting loud.
This night,
now,
yeah.
Yeah. So now we're talking about that exact instance that you've already said, yeah, I drank a little too much. Things got away. But when we're brought this information and Dodie is now talking to you about it, the whole thing changed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how I remember it. Well, you were too drunk. Maybe you have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you an alcoholic,
Yeah.
Janet?
It seems like you might be.
Oh, I think you need to go to rehab. That's what you did, Janet.
Yep.
That's what you put on people. So bro, the hypocrisy drives me up a wall. But she tries, like, her big moment was like, I know that Jenna and Aaron haven't dated or in like since 2022, or they dated in 2022. And Dodie's like, exactly. So why the fuck are you putting it on me?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this my fault?
And it's not. It's just not. And we would know if it was, because producers would have shown clips where Dodie was talking about it, perpetuating it, talking to other people about, oh, yeah, did you see Aaron over there? We didn't get any of that. We got you and Sheena talking about it, but we didn't get any of that from Dodie. So when you watch this back, and I do hope that Michelle was genuine when she started this conversation, trying to figure out who started it, because then we can get to the reunion, and now Michelle, when we're talking about this, has all of that in front of her.
Yep.
And she doesn't do the, well, maybe Kristen was moving behind scenes. We didn't see any of that. Don't fall for any of that shit, Michelle. Look at what we're presenting. Who's talking about it the most? It's Janet and Sheena, your friends.
Use the evidence provided to draw your conclusions.
Please.
And then we get to the ring thing again. Because Janet's like, well, I wanted to repair things until you brought up rumors about my husband. She thought it was squashed.
Yeah.
You guys sat down and talked about the ring thing.
We all did too. You guys went home and talked about how good of an opportunity this is to have a storyline.
Exactly.
And that's what we got. And that's what we're seeing here. We did play the semantics game a little bit, because it was like, oh yeah, we were doing this and talking about that, and you were spreading rumors, and Kristen was like, I was just telling you something that I heard.
I was repeating a rumor.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's
finally
similar.
we get that breakdown where Kristen does say, I told you I did this because you were doing shit to Danny and Nia.
But she
You were
did tell
talking
them that.
shit on them. She told them that before, but we at least get the hammer home. Like, that's the only reason I brought it up, was to show you what it does to people when you start doing that.
And we take a sharp 90-degree
Sharp turn.
And she goes, I just said out loud that he sexually assaulted Jasmine and Melissa.
Uh-huh.
Ludicrous.
Ludicrous. I'm so happy that Kristen and Zach got up, bashed her, and walked away. Nope.
It's such a, like, that claim carries so much weight, and rightfully so. But when we go through this situation, I go back to who was involved. Who was involved? Melissa, Jasmine, and Danny. Melissa, Jasmine, and Danny have sat down multiple times to try to move past this, and they've gotten to a point that Jasmine and Melissa are like, look, appreciate the apology. Let's move forward from here.
Yep.
That's all that matters. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I was a little scared at first, just because of the way that Jasmine was in the beginning of the episode.
I was too. I was like, oh shit.
Is she gonna go in this way?
I know. I
You
got
said it
nervous
before.
too.
If she does it again, it's like, you've squashed it.
It's hard. That's my
It's
thing.
a hard situation again, but you've squashed it. Janet bringing it up, no, has nothing to do with you.
And that's what Dodie points out. It's like, okay, so we've gone from drunk and inappropriate to sexually assaulting. Like,
with no regard for a person's life, no regard for marriage, no regard for
kids.
the kids, anything. It's just a moment that you wanted to have.
And
I genuinely believe she just got all pent up because finally people were coming after her and she doesn't know how to handle it, that she just blurted something out that she shouldn't have said.
No.
She'll never take it back. But I know deep down she realizes I shouldn't have fucking said that.
Probably just went too far.
I really went too far there. Doesn't matter. Cat's out of the bag. You've said this. Now everybody's going to be coming for you, and you're going to have to be on your guard, and your stupid husband lawyer is going to have to help you out. But people are going to be coming after you, and you don't know what you're going to, whatever Pandora box you just opened by saying that, you're not ready for that shitstorm.
You just activated Dodie.
Yep.
You activated OG Dodie. She's going to burn you to the ground. This is what she does. This is what we've been waiting for this season, is her to finally snap. And she has tried, to her credit, all season to not go over that tipping point. But when you make a claim like that on fucking TV, you're going to piss some people off. And you pissed off the wrong one here.
Yep.
Dodie goes directly to Nia and Danny, and Jason's over there too. I love the line, "You're going to throw the bitch off the boat." I might name this episode that, but she says what we're saying. Like, she's attempting to ruin somebody's life over there, and she tells Jason what happened. And meanwhile, Janet's tripling down on the front of the boat. She's like, I just said what it was. Like, the fucking reason for it was so dumb. Having a lawyer as a husband is tough because I'm not supposed to use the real word. Shut the fuck up. Do you not get what you just
Your
did?
husband gyps people out of fucking insurance claims.
Yeah, he's a
Workman's
workman's comp guy. And we actually got reached out to by a lawyer that does this.
Yeah.
And said, like, she's like, look, we're not all snakes.
Yeah, but Jason's a snake. You're not a snake, whoever reached out to us.
you're
Jason
cool.
is a snake.
Yeah,
We
you look
know
out for the
he's a snake.
workers.
It's just atrocious. And then we go deeper, which is more information that we didn't know, that Jason is apparently telling people, which he then changes the wording, that Danny was at a fan event.
Oh boy.
And said, "Oh yeah, Nia pulled me aside because apparently I was like doing that, but like my weakness is girls with short skirts." What the fuck?
What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
No.
Danny says, "I never said that."
Nobody
Jason
can
says,
corroborate it.
"I never heard you say that, but that's what Janet and someone else and Brittany were hearing." Brittany still somehow
Jared.
scot-free. Yeah, and Jared, of course, fucking pink boots walking around there. Those people all heard you say it. They are the least reliable witnesses. By far the least reliable witnesses that are just talking shit. Jason, again, stand up for your friends, maybe. You know, it's a scary proposition to stand against your crazy fucking wife. But you know what? Say, you know what? I didn't hear it and I never believed it. That's why I never said it. But you did say it because you told people.
Exactly.
So like, I'm tired of them all. They all have to go.
And when you're talking about that instance, and we get a clip of Janet telling Zach and Benji, and of course they didn't believe it. And when you just said,
in the most dramatic fashion.
Oh my God, I know. Like, you know,
tying it all, like she thought she tied a bow on Danny as a person.
But if you go,
he's an alcoholic, he sexually assaulted Melissa, and he got this going on. Like, shut up.
It's crazy. And like, that's what blows my mind is when you look at it from the standpoint of real life. It's like, do you understand what you're putting out there right now? Do you understand what you're doing to this guy's life? What his kids are going to potentially see one day because you want to have a storyline because you think you're important? You know how hard it is to be in the running for one of the most hated people on Bravo? It's a very, very tall order. And yet she has climbed the ranks in only 2 seasons. That's fucking wild. And when you go back to that scene of her telling Benji and Zach, she says he was making them feel very, very what?
Uncomfortable?
Uncomfortable. Why didn't it come up there about the skirts thing? Like, if that's something that was
putting her
said,
case together.
But exactly,
for whatever reason, it comes down to what do you have against Danny and Nia?
Exactly, they're happy.
Jealousy?
They're happy. They are happy. I'm miserable with my husband because I'm a miserable person. Jason hates me.
Yep.
I probably hate Jason.
Everybody hates you.
Don't project. I don't know. You can't project that kind of shit on other people.
Obviously, thankfully, in the midst of all of this, because everybody's now screaming about what the hell's going on. Melissa and Jasmine finally, Melissa, the person who
stands up,
is in question in the whole situation, who we've seen multiple times squash this and walk through it and talk through it and give Danny, you know, a little bit of an olive branch. Like, all right, we can move past this. We can move on. They seem like they're fine. No one else is talking about it that was actually involved in the situation. Stands up essentially and just says, keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
We're done.
We're fine.
We're fine. We've moved on. We've addressed it. We don't want to talk about it anymore. We don't want to deal with it anymore. Why are you idiots talking about this? Good question.
Great question. Yeah. And I'm so glad that she stood up. Like, that was such a important moment. And like, you would think that that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. And that's the crazier part. Like, the people involved just told you to drop it, that they're fine, that they've moved on from this. And it's further proof that this is a desperate pull for a storyline from Janet and Jason because they're so fucking miserable. They want to do anything to stay relevant. The only thing keeping their marriage together probably right now is this show.
Yep.
The fact that they're on a show together. If they weren't, they'd probably be divorced.
They just had a baby.
But yeah, that's a safety baby. That's a let's save our marriage baby. That's what it now sounds like to me because you guys clearly don't like each other. She laid on your arm and you said you're going to get makeup on my shirt.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like, you don't like each other. But Jason's weird high horse where he's like, I know it's hard to hear, but like, you did these things, Danny. It's like, you're acting like Danny's been in a blackout for years.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Why are we trying to paint this guy like some atrocious villain when we've all seen him on TV? Is what he did with Jasmine and Melissa okay? Absolutely not. No. It's fucking bad. But they talked about it. They're the ones involved. They're the ones that decide whether or not they're going to move on. They decide it. So why do we have to hear the frickin' frack yell about it to try to stay
crazy
on the I don't know. I'm at a loss of words, which I'm very rarely at a loss of words. But for Jason to then go on to say, like, why are we defending the wrong people? Like, who? What
are you talking about?
Who's the wrong person?
It's so delusional.
Who's the villain that you're trying to out right now for being a horrible
You're also,
person?
By the way, why are we trying to defend the wrong person? If you want to just think about it like that, I haven't seen you try to defend Danny.
No.
You're trying to tear him down even more. So what do you mean defend the wrong person?
I don't know. I don't know. But
unless you mean Janet.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the wrong person.
That is the wrong person, but I'm so glad that we got the Zach line. We just want the truth. Like, yeah, you can't handle the truth.
Hell yeah.
That was a good moment.
Thank God that fucking boat pulled in when it
I
did.
know. And Dodie said, get the fuck off my boat. I'm like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let her know.
Oh, that little like passive aggressive, and obviously, it's not squashed. Kristen's still yelling at Janet. Janet's still making snide remarks.
Luke's standing there with his moose knuckle.
Luke walked out. Well, he got changed. He did get changed. He said he was uncomfortable. The boys were a little tight.
Yeah, it makes sense.
He's trying to have a baby. So,
good point. Good
makes
point.
sense. But him walking off, and while Janet and Kristen's still yelling back, calling her a fan bitch, Luke walks by Janet and she goes, have fun with that forever.
I will.
He said, thank you.
Thank you. And it was like a ho-hum response.
He's just like, whatever, thank
Thanks,
you.
You
All right, cool.
miserable bitch. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
I can't, bro. It's so frustrating to watch. And I know I get more flustered than a lot of people do. But, like, it's such a crazy escalation to say that on TV when the people involved have squashed it.
Yeah.
But let's get to some questions.
First one up here from Kylie Mahala. Watching the after show? Janet defending friendship with Sheena too hard. Not a fan, ? We're not watching the after show. I've had enough of this show. I can't take any more of that. We watch it every week. I don't need more of these people.
No, I'm good.
Oh, more after show questions from Joanne Beach. Why are Lala, Brock, and Sheena in the after show? What the fuck? Go away.
Because they're parasites.
They are parasites. That is sure. I like how you didn't include Schwartz in that, though, too. He's also in the after show. From Lil Gris, do you think there will be a season 3? It's so toxic. Yeah, there's absolutely going to be a season 3. What they do with it, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no way that, and I promise you, Janet and Jason will be back.
Yeah. A lot of people calling for Janet and Jason off our screens. Love that. Good work, guys.
Not gonna happen, guys, but I'm with you.
Like minds. Whoop, nope. Good minds. What? What's the word?
Great minds think
Great
alike.
minds think alike. I'm sorry. It's
like
episode
mine's
2.
good.
I'm
good.
dying.
Like mine's great.
Jamie Gibbs, did Brittany purposely tell Jax to get back at Kristen/Zach for not being involved in the plan?
Yes, unequivocally, yes.
Absolutely. I love this from K Sparklick. More Jesse, less Janet. Hell yeah.
Oh boy, don't feed into it. And it's K Sparkle K. We do that every time.
Whatever.
I've done it probably 100 times.
From Vanez. Love Nia and Danny. Do they need to run from this show? It's too
yes,
toxic.
they needed to run.
We said it last year. Get the hell out of there.
You guys are happy.
From RTSV 93. Steele, I asked weeks ago for a cast iron cleaning tutorial. Can you please do that for them?
Sure.
No, not right now. Not right now.
What do you mean? It's gonna take
on your
30
thing.
seconds.
You've done this on the
TikTok?
show before. Yeah, do it on
Okay.
TikTok.
Yeah, I'll do it on my The Recession Chef. If you're not following, go give me a follow.
Give him a follow.
Yeah, it's kind of jumped off. It's pretty fun.
This one's funny. I don't really get it, but from TL Jones 1934, should Janet and Jason just stay in Europe?
I don't care where they go, but sure.
They're in Hawaii, but
Oh, I thought maybe now.
maybe they're in Europe currently. I mean, we don't.
That's what
follow them.
That's what I took it as.
We'd have to be approved to follow Janet at this point. Not that I would.
No.
So yeah, no. I'm gonna try to find one more in here before my phone dies. We can address this from Jacqueline Michelle Kress. If Janet/Jax get canned, do you think the show will get better or be boring and slow?
Better. There's enough here.
I truly think there's enough here, and I do think that Janet going, Jax going will just remove people from the show that'll allow other people to just naturally have drama. These people have enough going on in their lives, and they are incredibly immature for 40-year-olds that we will get a lot, and it'll probably be better.
They are self-centered enough to continue to drive the show in a direction that we want, instead of we get stuck on this trope in Bravo shows that we need the most drama and the most dramatic people to run these shows well. And we have proven that over the past, I would say, 3 years in Housewives shows, in this show, that just because you have the most toxic person on the cast, it does not equate to a good show. We've had too many instances that have led to this in Housewives shows, causing them to recast, reboot, pause. All of those things came from an overly toxic, dark season.
Yep.
That's what they're trying to do here, and it's because you have the likes of Alex Baskin and Jeremiah, whatever the fuck his name is. They seem to think, and they're stuck on this notion of we need the darkest material because that's the most palpable, which is simply untrue. There's enough with this cast to let them shine on their own. Get rid of Janet, get rid of Jax, and let these peacocks fly.
Let them fly.
Damn it. But yeah, I'm curious how they're going to wrap this season up. And then this is going to be a fun one to watch the off-season moves.
Yeah.
To see what they're
I agree
doing.
with that, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been a weird season. It's been a weird
really
season
has.
for a lot of shows.
Yeah, it has.
But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. All good here.
That's our show. Bros gotta go.